Hi everybody, Carly here. Thank you for tuning in once again to my YouTube channel if you are returning here, and if you are new here, welcome to my YouTube channel. I am so excited to be doing part 2 today for you guys of the worst and best couples of Glee. So if you watched last week's video, you will know I went through my top 10 couples which I thought were the best couples on Glee. Now this week I'm doing who I thought were the 10 worst couples on Glee. As always, just a little disclaimer in these kind of videos before I start. It's nothing against the characters or pairings. These are just my personal opinions. You don't have to agree with them. These are just my opinions. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so at number 10, which is like not the worst couple ever, but they are one of my worst couples, is Puckleberry. Now, don't get me wrong, Puck and Rachel, they had some really cute moments on the show. I'm not denying that. And he did really seem to like Rachel, but I never could picture them together, and they weren't ever going to be. If you watched last week's video, you will know my OTP is Finn and Rachel. They always have been from the start. So there was no way Puckleberry in my head was ever going to happen, even though they weren't together in the first season. Technically, Finn and Rachel, they were just kind of flirting and kind of sending vibes to each other, that I always shipped them and I always knew they were going to end up together. So there was no way I was supporting Puckleberry. I do think, you know, like, they did have some sweet moments, like I said, but I just could never put them together. And I do think when they broke up, it was for the best reasons possible, but I don't know, they're not like the worst couple ever, but they're not like there either. Okay, number 9. Now, I think I might have some disagreements with me here, but Sam Sadie's is at number 9. Now, I love Sam and I love Mercedes, but I just don't think they were a good couple together, and I never really saw the connection when they were together, which is the main reason they're like one of the worst couples. Like, I did at first at the end of season 2, I was like really excited, even though I wanted Sam and Quinn to stay together, because Sam and Quinn are like in my top 5 best couples ever. But I was like, oh, that could be quite interesting to watch, and then it kind of fizzled out. And every time they kind of got back together, it's true on the show, like what they said in like season 5, I can't remember the exact quote, but they were like, it never really seemed like you two were together or a couple, and it was so true. There just was no real connection there at all. I didn't see any chemistry, and I don't know, I'm glad they didn't end up together at the end of the show, but they're one of the worst couples to me, I've got to say. Okay, number 8 is Cadam, which is Kurt and Adam. And now Adam was in season 4 and he was part of the Adam's Apples, if you remember. Now, I suppose they weren't really together, but I know a lot of people that ship them personally. I personally don't ship them. They are awful. I mean, Blaine and Kurt are, but like Finn and Rachel, for me, they're meant to be together through all the ups and downs, through all the breakups, through all the cheating. They are meant to be together. And I don't know, I didn't really like Adam as a character anyway. I feel really mean saying this, but I don't think he really brought anything to the show. And so when they were trying to sort of bring him in as like Kurt's new like love interest, I wasn't really overly thrilled, to be honest with you. And they just never developed really any chemistry again, like Sam and Mercedes. So that's why they're at number 8 for me. Now, I know I'm gonna get so many disagreements with me on this next one. It's Quick, which is Quinn and Puck. Now, hear me out before you all scream and send like loads of hate to me. I think Quinn and Puck will always have a connection because obviously they had Beth together and he did support her a lot, even when she was making out like Finn was the father, especially the one. And they do have some cute moments, but I think Quinn was never at her best with Puck. I think she was always at her best with Sam. I will always ship Sam and Quinn as like, out of all of like Quinn's relationships and Sam's relationship, as their endgame. But I just don't think they were at their best when they were together. And I do think if they had ended up together, I wouldn't be like that happy. Now, I'm not an over big fan, but I do think they're one of the best couple of Pisces, which is Puck and Lauren, which I did mention last week. And I know people are going to be screaming at me, why do you think Puck and Lauren are better than like Puck and Quinn? And it's not that I think they're better, but I do think we saw a side to know where he generally actually cared about the girl and not based on looks, because let's be honest, Quinn is gorgeous, she is stunning, and I just don't think they brought out the best in each other, and I don't ever think their relationship would have worked out truly, because the connection they got together on, I think personally for me, is more on the level of they had a child together, and they always will share that bond like many people do. But that's why I don't like Quick. I think, you know, if I hadn't have seen Quinn and Sam had never come into the show, which I would have been so sad because I love Sam as a character, I probably would ship them. And if Puck and Lauren had never got together, I probably would ship them together, because I do think after all of them two couples individually, I think they are good together, but they are just not a good couple in my eyes when after seeing her with Sam, and you know, even, you know, seeing Puck with Lauren. I just don't think they're a good couple. Okay, number 6, I know probably a lot of you will agree with me here, Brochel. Now, okay, here's the thing with Brochel, I don't like them as a couple, but I do like that Brody brought out a new confidence in Rachel, which we hadn't really seen before. I think it's so nice that he could bring that out of her. But I do not like their relationship, because it was basically a whole, on Rachel and Brody's half, basically a deceitful relationship. Like, I suppose it wasn't really a relationship, it was kind of like, I don't know, a friends but not friends with benefits kind of situation, if we're being honest. But I think, to be honest, if they were having an open relationship like they said, Brody should have told Rachel that he was a gigolo, and or like, you know, sleeping with women to make money. And I think Rachel should have listened to her heart and knew she wasn't ready to move on from Finn. I don't like it. It's just based on deceit. Now I know people are saying, but you are going to come at me saying, but Finchel, they cheated, that's a deceitful relationship. But I genuinely think with Finchel, despite all that, they truly did love each other, which I don't think they didn't love each other, but I think it was more a friendship love, and the need for that kind of, I don't know the word, but the need to be with someone for both of them. Okay, we're top 5. Wary is number 5, which is Will and Terry. Again, it's one of those couples that is basically, and what Terry did, I understand in some ways where Terry was coming from, like Emma said, but it was so deceitful. Like, how could you ever do that to someone? Like, lie about being pregnant, like, especially after all those years of marriage. And as well, Will is just awful in the first season for how he's not cheating, but he's like flirting with women and everything. It's just awful. I think, you know, Terry's too like an over strong, confident woman for Will, who's kind of portrayed as like a softer kind of man. And I just never would have seen it working out. I'm not happy that, to be honest, entirely that he ended up with Emma. I know last week's vlog I shipped Wemma, but I did mention I'm always on off with Wemma. I'm never like totally on board. But that is why Wary is at number 5. Number 4, I'm going to have a load of people I feel like with this as well. Tarty. Now, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail because I have mentioned this in like 3 or 4 of my videos before, I don't even know. But I don't like Tarty as a couple. I think Tyke which is Tina, and Mike were really suited to each other. And I really loved Wild Brands, which is Kitty and Artie together. I think as a friendship, they are amazing. I totally ship them as a friendship. As a couple, I don't think they suit each other, and I was not happy that they ended up together, if I'm being totally honest. But I love them individually, but I just don't think they should have ended up together. Okay, number 3 is fwin, which is Finn and Quinn. I know why they were together, but I don't, if you get what I mean. Like, in the first season, I think it was based off just they wanted to be popular, and they knew like he was the quarterback, she was head Cheerio, so they always knew it would work. But again, it was just, she cheated a lot on him, and I just don't think it was ever going to be a healthy relationship. I don't really understand why the writers in season 2, if I'm being totally honest, made Rachel and Finn break up just to put them back together. And I know a lot of fans that are angered, talking to them through my Instagram when I was making this video. I asked people what their opinions on different couples were as well, and I know it angered a lot of people. Will never really understand why they did that, because they were never really that great to begin with. But I don't like fwin at all. I will never ship them. Finchel are my OTP, so fwin is completely out of the question. Okay, number 2 is Bram. If I ever said that right, Bram, which is Brittany and Sam. Now, I know they got married and everything. Well, technically, because of the apocalypse thing, that was just, I'm sorry, that was just a stupid couple to put together. Like, I kind of guess in some ways they complement each other. Like, they're both kind of like smart, ditzy in their own ways, and they are both kind of like similar personalities, like goofballs and stuff. But that was just totally weird for me and never gonna happen. And number 1, my all-time worst couples, Glee, come and say it with me, Blainowski. Why the hell did the writers put Blaine and Karofsky together? I will never know. I was so angry when they took off the Klein engagement at the beginning of season, was it 6? Yeah, season 6. And then put, to add more knife into the wound, Blaine and Karofsky together. It just was never going to work. I will never understand why, of all people, like, okay, I wasn't happy that Blaine and Kurt broke up, but fair enough, they did, and then Blaine was going to go on to another person. But why put it with the person that threatened to kill basically the love of your life? Like, because he did that in season 2, didn't he? He threatened Kurt's life. Like, why? Oh my god, that was the worst decision. I can't tell you how angry to this day it still makes me when I see that season. It was just the worst decision ever. And I will never ship Blainowski, never. And I know so many people that were so angry with that as well. But there you are, guys. There is the worst couples on Glee. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe down below if you did. I'll be back next week with a video for you, a new one. And I can't remember, but I think I've got it planned, talking about Naya Rivera. Bless her. So if you want to see that, come back next week. See you guys. Bye.